Hey everybody, I thought I'd like to share what I consider to be my top 10 photos that I took in 2014 in a short little video, but also probably more interesting to people out there would be the process I go through to select those top 10 photos for a whole year, how I kind of funnel everything down. So even though if you might not think my photos are your cup of tea, maybe the process I use, you'll be able to take something away from and think, oh right, yeah, I could use that. That would really help me to kind of decide which are my best photos. And basically it's just about really organising your photos into almost like, it's like a bit like quality control really, and the fact that you start off with all these photos that you take as you go out, and then you start to thin them down. But I'm a big believer in that you shouldn't try and say you went out and you took 100 photos in a day. You couldn't then immediately say, right, this is the best photo. You need to leave time in between that, because you can be emotionally attached to your photographs. It might have been difficult to take them. There might be your loved ones in the photos. It might be a very close facsimile of a photo from a famous photographer that you're particularly proud of you managed to take, and all these other things. And it can take time to make you a little bit more unbiased, if you like, so you can step back and actually say, right, I really like that photo. And it also means that photos maybe you didn't initially like might grow on you. So anyway, let's kind of have a look, and what we'll do is we'll dive into Lightroom first, and I'll show you how I do that. But it doesn't necessarily, it wouldn't have to be Lightroom, it could be Bridge, it could be Picasso, it could be however you organise your photos. So this is Lightroom, and this is a photo walk I went on last year, basically to HMS Victory. So I've already copied and imported all the photos onto my computer, and as we go through, you see there's loads and loads of photos here that we could go through, and the first thing I do is I pick my favourites, and the way that I do that is I just go full screen like this, and then if I like it, you press P to pick it, and it immediately goes on to the next screen, and then the next photo, and I work my way through all the photos just whether I like them or not. Let's just go back and unpick that one, and then go back to the library module. And what happens then at the end is when you've been through them all, you can then hit your flag, and it will just show your flagged photos, the ones that you've picked. Now you may well want to start using like the stars and all this sort of stuff, but I think I either like the photo or I don't like the photo. And then I'll go through then, and then these are ones that I already have edited, but then if there's any that I don't particularly like, I'll hit U to unpick them. Like that one, let's unpick that one and go through, and it kind of thins the selection down, if you like. Now if I'm not quite sure about a photo, I'll still keep it as a picked photo, and then I'll go in and I'll start editing the photos. As you can see, these are all edited ones, and these are basically, then I'll add keywords to them so they're all ready to kind of be uploaded to the next stage. So once I'm happy with all the edits and I'm ready to upload them, I'll then export them into a separate folder with my robnarphoto.com watermark on, and any keywords and the GPS data, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of that's been the first kind of filter, if you like, taking the lots, say 500 photos, and then going through in Lightroom and picking the ones I like. Maybe it's 20 out of those 500 photos, and then I'll edit them, and then maybe I'll thin them down a little bit more after editing, actually, because sometimes you edit a photo and you think, oh, it didn't come out the way I want, and so I'll be left with, I don't know, say take 500, maybe I'm left with 10 that I want to upload to Flickr. So then I'll upload them to Flickr, and this is my Flickr photo stream here. So as you can see, it's all the photos that I thought were good enough to upload to Flickr. Not necessarily my greatest ever photos, but these are the ones I thought, yeah, these are okay, I like these, and I want to share them with the world. Then the next thing I do is, if there's a photo I particularly like, let's take a photo that I know I won't have added to the group, but let's go into this one. Photo of this boat, and let's say this was a better photo than it actually is. It was a bit more interesting. I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? But it's a bit bland. And I think, oh yeah, I quite like that one. What I then do is I come down here and I add it to an album. See where it says down here, add to album? And I click that, and I have a separate album. I've got loads of albums, but I have an album called Scale Speeders Slideshow. Here it is. Rob Nunn Scale Speeders Slideshow. And any photo that I think is okay, better than the ones that are uploaded, I add to that slideshow. And I'll click on that, and then it adds it to that particular album. And then if you come across the Scale Speeders slideshow, and then look at that, look at this. This then has my kind of the favourites of the favourites that I've uploaded to Flickr, if you like, because I like the photos that I upload to Flickr. That's why I've uploaded them. But after a while, there's ones I like more than others. Some I might not. I start to dislike quite a lot. So I then put the ones that I like more into this slideshow, and it's kind of, sometimes I'll do them a couple of days after I've taken the photos and uploaded them. Sometimes it'll be weeks. Sometimes it might even be months later. In fact, this year, I didn't really go through it for probably 8 months of the year till quite recently, and went through and added the photos that I liked. Again, there's no number limit. I just add the ones that I like better than my other ones. So that's another. So we started off with all these photos I took. Then there's the ones I uploaded to Flickr, and then the ones that get into the slideshow. I just call it the slideshow. It's just a name. It's kind of my favourites of the photos I have. And then what I do is at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, depending on how you want to look at it, I then got to choose my top 10. So what I then do is I then create another list. So let's go into this photo here, for example. And I create another group, or an album, I think they call them now, don't they? No, they call them album. And you'll see this photo has been added to an album called The Best of 2013. So I create that album. Obviously, it would have been 2014. And then I go through my slideshow photos, my favourites, and I just add any that I've taken in that year to that group that I really like. If I think, I really like that photo, I'll add it. Now, there's no, again, at this point, as I'm adding the photos, there's no number limit. Even though it's the top 10, there might be 20, there might be 30 images, until eventually I end up with a group of photos in my top 10 group. So this is my 2014 top 10. But there's probably, originally there would have probably been 20 images in this group. And then all I do is I just go through and I just look at them, one after the other, or in groups, and go, right, is that one better than that one? Do I want to keep that one? And then I'll go back to, the overall look, right? Which is the weaker image. Always taking off the ones that I don't like as much, till eventually you battle it out till you do get to 10, and then I stop. These particular photos of 2014, some of them are okay. Yeah, they're okay. They're the best ones I've taken. Now, to say that they're not my best photos I've taken ever, but they're the best for that one, and it gives me a chance to look back through the year and go, all right, yeah, maybe I did take some good ones, or maybe I need to work on this, or I do seem to have taken a lot of photos that I like in the same place. Maybe I need to go somewhere else. So that's, you see how I kind of select my photos then. So we start off with all the ones I take with the camera. Then we go into Lightroom, and I kind of choose my favourites to work on to edit. And once I've edited them, I might thin them out a bit. Then the ones I like of those then go uploaded to Flickr. And then a few days later, weeks or months, I then choose my favourites of the ones I've uploaded to Flickr, and they go in a separate album. And then finally, at the end of the year, I then add my top 10. So at each point, I don't all of a sudden say, when I want to choose my top 10, I don't have to go through like 2,000 images. I've already filtered down what I consider to be my favourite ones. Right, so there we go. So what we'll do now is let's dive in and have a look at these photos, and I'll share them with you. Okay, so here we go. My top 10 of 2014. Should we start at the end and work our way back? Yes, I think we'll start off with this one. Now let's make this bigger. There we go. In fact, we could go full screen, couldn't we? That's probably a little bit better, isn't it? And if you want to appreciate these photos better, I guess, go full screen on the YouTube video as well and play it at high quality. Now, I like taking photographs of silhouettes of trees when they haven't got any flowers on, as this one. And I've kind of taken quite a few, but this one is my favourite because of the way that I get the silhouette of the tree, but it's not just the silhouette. There is some more detail, like in the shadows, so you can see there is a bit of dimension added to the tree. I like the way it curves, but I really love the background. I remember looking across a car park in Gosport and seeing this silhouette of the tree against the coloured high-rise flats. And what it is, these flats are like painted in stripy different colours. Sort of pastel shades, and I thought, yes, that's it, that's exactly what I wanted. And I cropped it to make sure that the tree kind of filled the frame, so I really like that. So that was one of my favourite photos. This is one I took on a photo walk around Portsmouth fairly early on in the year. Beautiful day. Look at that sky, so blue. And it was at Portsmouth Guildhall. And we're looking across at the old Guildhall here, and then we've got a statue of Princess Queen Victoria just here. And I saw the guy walking into the frame. I thought that'll give everything a sense of scale. But what I didn't realise is there's a little bird up here as well. And I just love the colours. I love the whiteness of the... I don't know if it's marble or some sort of stone, but I kind of like the dimensions involved. You've got this huge building with this huge statue and this little fella walking along here. This photo I really like. There's some things I really like about it, some things I don't. This was taken on about June the 4th, where down at Leon Solent, sort of near to Gosport, they were doing the special occasion where a load of Dakota DC-3s were flying over to Normandy to drop some paratroopers as part of remembrance for the celebrations for D-Day. And as part of this, the Battle of Britain flight flew over, so it's the Lancaster, and I don't know if it's 2 Spitfires or a Spitfire and a Hurricane. And I took lots of photos, and I got this one as they were kind of curving around out to sea towards the Isle of Wight. And I really like the fact that you've got the God beams coming through, and you've got the sun up here on the top left-hand corner, and you've got almost the silhouettes of the planes. I did enhance the beams a little bit with some dodging and burning. Dodging, I think. I very rarely use dodging, but I kind of did this just subtly to make them increase the contrast. It's very noisy. I think this is an unfinished image. It needs more work on from the original. And unfortunately, because I wasn't very good at taking photos of aeroplanes at the time, my shutter speed is too high because you can see the individual propellers of these aeroplanes. And if I'd just used a slightly longer shutter speed, it would have blurred those propellers, and I think then the shot maybe would have been pretty much perfect. So there we go. Yeah, but I think it's a great moment in time, actually. Those 3 really old aircraft sort of flying along, very evocative, very emotive. This photo was taken almost the same place, actually, down at Leon Solent, just looking out across the sea. I was waiting for a sunset, actually, because I'm a bit of a fan of really beautiful sunsets, and you get some great ones down there. And this woman walked out onto one of the breakwaters, these rocks. And it was quite unusual, and so I got the telephoto. Well, the telephoto was already on. Oops, don't want to zoom in. And I don't know, it's just quite a nice little photo. She's quite pensive, walking out onto the rocks with the sea behind her. This one was taken on a photo walk down by the River Hamble, just wandering along. And again, I like taking pictures of bridges. And this one I like the fact that we've got this big motorway bridge, and you can't see the left-hand side, so you don't know what's there. And it's very dark underneath, very foreboding. And then you've got this little canoe approaching it. It looks like he's stopped and he's thinking, do I really want to go underneath this bridge? And I like the way the lines sort of curve away into the distance there, telling a little bit of a story. This is part of a set of images I took down, again, this was near Hill Head for windsurfer. The tide was such that there was kind of almost like a spit of land that goes out into the sea, so I could actually look across almost as if I was in a boat of the windsurfers as they were zooming around. And I like this one, although it's very grainy. The fact that this guy's, you can tell he's going really fast. The waves are whipping up the spray, and you can see his board's almost completely out of the water. Yeah, I really, really like that shot. This is one taken at the Portsmouth Historic Dockyard over in Portsmouth, and I just like, I think it's a little bit humorous. You've got this massive building with the big sign for Portsmouth Historic Dockyard with Nelson's flag signs across the top. England expects every man to do his duty. And then you've got all these people waiting for a ferry harbour tour underneath, and they're very small, but it's very colourful. I like colour photography, but I'm not very good at it. But I think in this one, I kind of might have hit some of the ticks. This might have even been taken on the same day. It was the paying off day of HMS Illustrious, one of the Navy's carriers. I think it was the last of the carriers, and a Sea Vixen flew over. But I didn't have my telephoto lens with me. I only had my 40mm 2.8 on, I think. And so I just kind of looked up. This might even have been from the deck of the Victory. I'm not sure. But the Vixen sort of flew across, and I snapped away, and I just happened to get this great angle where the Vixen is in focus, and you've got the Royal Ensign there as well in the shot. And I like the colours, you know, the blues and the reds. It looks nice. This one, back to a black and white again at the historic dockyard. We're looking out towards HMS Victory, famous for Nelson's flagship, and then we've got this little boy looking out as well. I thought, again, that's telling a little bit of a story. And then finally, again, near the historic dockyard, but this is of HMS Warrior, and again, maybe, is there a little bit of humour in this photo? Maybe. This is HMS Warrior 1860, a big warship that ran off steam and sail. And you've got this big figurehead there, you know, this big Greek god looking very foreboding, and this big metal, I don't know, what do you call that metal bit that comes off the front of a ship, but there. And then down here we've got this little fella, this little man who's kind of looking back across, and then you've got this sign underneath here that says, "Keep off, no unauthorised boats," alongside, as if HMS Warrior could be an unauthorised boat. So there we go, they were my favourite photos that I took for myself of 2014. Hopefully it's been helpful me going through the method and technique I use to funnel my photographs down. And if you've got your favourite ones, put some links in the comments below. I'd love to have a look at them. And any thoughts and questions you've got, remember you can email me, scalespeeder@gmail.com, or you can put anything you like in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it and share it, that'd be really good. And if you want some more, please subscribe, that really helps, and I really appreciate it very, very much. But that's enough from me, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.